Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm Cynthia Tolles, President of the Gadsden City Council, and we're conducting our work session today by teleconference. This meeting is being broadcast on Facebook Live and will be available on Channel 99, AT&T Uverse, and the City of Gadsden YouTube. As a reminder, the work sessions give the council an opportunity to receive items on today's agenda, as well as any ordinances and resolutions that have been routed from the council consideration. These meetings are informal and no official actions are taken. So Councilman, if you'll look at your agenda today, for today, we have a resolution that's amending the agreement with Flw Llc. And this agreement is for sponsoring of a fishing tournament, and this changes the date of the event to September the 2nd through the 4th, 2020. Our next item would be a resolution that's authorizing extension of special use permit to Verizon, and this extends the permit to authorize in December of 2019, which allows Verizon to co-locate their equipment on the existing wireless communication facilities at 4610 Airport Road. And if we need any further explanation, David is here that can chime in, or either he can call in and we'll be able to ask them questions when we get back to this particular point. And our next item is a resolution accepting the Community Development Block Grant Coronavirus Fund and authorizing the mayor to sign the funding agreement. This is for $621,937 that's provided through the CARES Act to respond to the coronavirus, $160,000 for the fire department equipment, $176,937 is for emergency utility assistance for low and moderate income citizens, and $190,000 is for supplies and equipment, and $95,000 is for nonprofits to address the homelessness. And then we have a resolution that's authorizing amendment to the 2019 CDBG action plan, and this is a 2015 to 2019 consolidated plan and citizen participation plan. And our next item is an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2020 general fund budget to reflect receipt of the $621,937 CDBG COVID grant. And I believe this ordinance is needed today, so that we'll ask for a motion to suspend the rules and consider it on the first reading. Are there any questions from the council members concerning today's agenda? I would just like to go back to number 11, where we're talking about the community development grant, and especially the part in there about the emergency utilities and the low and moderate income citizens. I would like, especially for all our councilmen, to make known in their particular areas that this is money that will help to bring people up as far as their utilities are concerned. So they need to really pay close attention to this so that they can apply for this. Are there any questions concerning this? Are there any comments concerning any other part of the agenda for today?
Councilman Tolles, I have a question on the what you just mentioned about for the citizens to make application. Will that be spelled out today as to where they can go and how that application process takes place?
I believe that, I'm not sure if it's not spelled out in the ordinance, but I'm sure that the community development, I think Ms. Renee Baker and also Mr. Hall, they are supposed to get information out that will allow the citizens. I just wanted an extra announcement from the councilman to let their various constituents know that this money is available to help as far as utilities. It's not, it's to help, you know, if they're in the rear, it's to help bring them up to speed.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Are there any other questions concerning this, this agenda?
Ms. Toles, that also has to do with, the city garbage too. If they're behind on their garbage bills, they can use this money here to help catch up on their garbage bills also.
Yeah, I believe it has to do with the light bill, the gas bill, the water bill, and the garbage bill. So this is something that all the citizens need to look into.
Madam
Councilman
President,
Worthy.
do you know when they'll start taking the applications?
No, I do not, and I'm sure after this is, because they've had public hearings, after this ordinance is passed, I'm sure that they'll put it out to start taking applications. I'm quite sure immediately.
Okay.
But I'm sure that there are some forms that they're going to have to get to be able to fill it out.
Dr. Toles.
Yes.
Hey, this is Nick Hall. Just wanted to let you know that once again, this will provide up to $600
Okay.
per each family, and this will apply to power, gas, water, and garbage.
Okay.
Will be a cap up to for $600. Hopefully, we'll get at least 300 families assisted with this fund.
Okay, the question was asked, I know we're publicizing, but how will they start, when can they start applying? That was the question.
Well, once you approve this, we've been waiting on approval. Once there's approval, we'll fast track an application form that will allow the citizens to apply. Now, it will be based on your income and family size, so you will have to qualify for these funds. And then we'll post that, and we'll let every council member know how to get access to it. It's probably going to take us a couple of weeks to get everything in place and formed. So we're thinking June 1st, we'll have something ready, and it'll be retroactive to go back to a certain time, and we'll confirm that as well, how far we can go back.
Okay. And you did say that this is just once a family is approved, this is a one-time for each family member, right?
Right.
Yes,
It can be up for 3 months, but it will be a one-time assistance available to for basically delinquent accounts. We need to help them get caught up to where they can be current.
Okay. Are there any other questions concerning this particular ordinance? If there's nothing else, we'll look at our pre-council folder or file, and we'll look at move to items that have been routed to the mayor and forward to the council. And we have one resolution, and this is authorizing application, acceptance, and administration of a $129,467 for an FAA grant for the airport authority. Is there a representative from the airport authority that could explain this to us? If someone is speaking, you're on mute.
Dr. Toles,
Yes.
this is Harry McLendon. I'm the chairman of the Airport Authority.
All right.
At our April 17th meeting, we had Neil Schaefer make a proposal for this repair out at the airport. And the board unanimously approved that we recommend the city sign the grant application. It's, like you said, for $129,476,000 for repair on the real lights and on the beacon. We have an engineer from Neil Schaefer here to explain any details that you might, or any questions you might have on this. But like I said, the board at our April 17th meeting voted
to recommend the city approve.
Okay, is he,
I have Josh Stump here from Neil Schaefer to answer any questions on the engineering aspect.
okay, could he come and explain exactly what the grant will pay for? What is it that you all will be doing at the airport as far as that grant is concerned?
So the project is two parts. As Mr. McClendon mentioned, we're going to replace the runway end identifier lights. Those are two sets of lights on each end of runway 624. And then the second part is the airport's rotating beacon and beacon tower. We're going to take it down, fix any damaged or worn parts, make sure it's proper working condition. We're going to clean up the tower and the beacon, give it a new proper paint job. The tower itself has a dented leg. We're going to replace that leg. Again, get it back into proper working condition. The grant itself will cover any and all costs associated with the project. That includes our engineering fees, the bidding costs, the construction costs by the contractor to actually do the work. Like I said, anything and everything. And this year is very unique because of the COVID-19 issue that's going on, and many municipalities and counties are financially troubled. The FAA is actually paying for everything 100% federally funded. Normally, it's 95 and 5, 90% federal, 5% state match, and 5% local match. But like I said, this year, it's 100% federally funded by the FAA. So there's not one penny will come from the city of Gadsden nor the airport.
How about that?
Okay, any questions from any council members that you have for Josh Stump? Is this a grant that that the airport normally gets?
Yes, ma'am. Every year, the airport receives an entitlement grant, which is $150,000. Now, as you noticed this year, we're only going to use about $130,000. So the remaining $20,000 and change will get rolled over into next year's. So next year we can expect to have about $170,000 to use. But this is a standard, this is an annual grant. It's very cyclical. This time every year we will come to you and ask for this similar process. The projects change, the project may be smaller, bigger, but this is a standard federally funded grant.
Okay. Are there any other questions that any council member want to ask? Okay. If not, thank you.
Thank you, members of the council.
Does the council have any further comments or any questions at this time?
I got a couple of questions, Madam President.
Council, all right.
Number one, I'd love to hear from somebody at Public Works. I know a couple of weeks ago we said that they had hoped to have the recycling drop-off location reopened. I continue to get repeated calls about that. So if there's somebody from Public Works that can speak to that. And then after that, I'd like to discuss the sidewalk seating. We got an update on that. Kay Moore and I have been working on some stuff, and I just want to go over a couple of things and get some clarification from the engineering department if somebody's available.
I don't know if Mr. Hilton is available to call in. You know, this was planned. Our council meeting was not planned to be teleconference, and I know he would do. And I had asked, I think, for last week for him to be here. So I don't know if is there any way that Mike Hilton or somebody from Public Works can call in, because I'm curious as to know when the landfill might be open again.
Well, I can speak personally to that. I know the landfill itself is reopened. Mike Hilton told me that last week. But again, specifically the recycling drop-off location, I've gotten a lot of requests for updates on the timeline for that. And the other thing, I'll just go right into the second point there with Kay and the downtown using the sidewalks for dining. It was my understanding after Kay's research, and I don't know, maybe Lee Roberts can speak to this, but there is an existing ordinance in the city of Gadsden that allows restaurants to offer sidewalk seating. have to fill out an application and have, I think, $100,000 worth of liability insurance. And then they can offer seating out there. Apparently this ordinance has been in place for some time. So Kmore is going to direct the downtown businesses to follow that application process for those that want to offer outdoor dining, sidewalk dining. And it's my understanding that those applications come to the city clerk and then are routed. The only thing I would ask, and I don't think this takes an ordinance or an act of this council to do, but I would ask that we simply make an interpretation that once the application is submitted, the restaurant can move forward with doing it as the application is being processed, that we don't hold them up and have to wait around a couple of weeks for them to get a notification back. They just need to come submit the application and they can go ahead and get started with the understanding they would get a permit in the coming days. So if maybe Nick can speak to that, if that would be an appropriate application, or Lee, either one of y'all, what do y'all think about that?
That would be Ms. Nelson. Could you speak to what he just said?
Yes, and we typically try to look at those quickly as they come in. Certificate of insurance is required, so any delay would be maybe in getting that. We usually have the building inspector to make sure that the sidewalk is not going to be blocked to the point where it would impede pedestrian traffic and that type of thing. So just off the top of my head, I'm recalling those two things.
Yeah, and certainly the K has communicated that to the downtown businesses. They're very clear about the ordinance and the stated clearance for to make the sidewalk ADA compliant. And all I'm proposing is that if we could go back and tell our downtown businesses, look, once you've submitted your application with your certificate of insurance, you can go ahead and put the tables out there, but know that the building inspector is likely going to be by to make sure that those tables are meeting the ADA sidewalk compliance. Are y'all comfortable, I guess, with us going forward and telling these downtown businesses that that's what they can do, as long as they've submitted the application for the permit?
I can touch base with the building inspector and the city attorney just to be sure.
Okay.
And then I can let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Have we been able to contact anybody from Public Works?
Yes, Council President. Mike Hiflin's supposed to be on the line now. I got in touch with him.
Hello.
Okay.
Just a minute.
Mr.
Hey, Mike.
Hilton,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Wilson has a question that he would like for you to address. I know you addressed it a while back, but maybe some more information concerning it.
Hey, Mike, I was
Yes,
just wanting to update on the recycling center. I'm still getting calls about it, and I know you had said hopefully in a couple of weeks, maybe we could get the drop-off services going. I was just wondering if you could give us an update on where we are on that.
I can. We are closed until further notice. It does not look like a couple of weeks going to be a good answer. We're looking maybe at a couple of months. With the volume that's going to be coming with what we know will happen with drop-off service and the employees that we don't have there right now, it's just not going to work, and I'd hate to do a bad job at it. So we're using those employees in a couple other places, which just means those 2 employees are doing something else. It takes about 10 people to run that place in either operation. And so at this time, we're just saying closed until further notice. Without our ability to recycle in-house, everything that we get recycling, we ship to another recycling facility to actually recycle. Marshall County's been hit pretty good with this COVID thing, and that's typically where we would take our recyclables. They're not open there week by week. So as they get back online and get caught up, we will reevaluate our employee situation at that point and then know how to move forward then. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does to me, but make no mistake about it, Mike. I mean, I'm not kidding when I say I've gotten 100 calls, texts, or emails about that in the last 7 days. I just don't think, I know it is what it is, man. I'm not putting it on your shoulders, but I'm just saying, as the one guy on this group that has his finger on the pulse of social media probably more than anybody, I'm telling you it's about to be bad. But I mean, y'all dealt with it and navigated those storms before, so I understand it is what it is. But
Yes,
I've rarely gotten this much outreach over a single subject. So I go all the way back to the Board of Education budget on this one. I mean, it's going to be a doozy. But I got it. I'll pass the word along.
and let me turn this down. Feel free to give my number out to anyone who has questions. They can call me here at Public Works. Most everybody has my cell phone number. I can tell you that by the number of calls that I get. I'll be more than
too, brother. Mine too.
So yeah, don't hesitate to give my number out. I'll be happy to talk to anybody who wants to talk about it.
Mike, is this, Mr. Hilton, is this because we have a lack of employees that are working to be able to do this? So people need to understand, they need to understand that, is it a lack of employees?
It's a combination.
Okay.
So if you think about the job that we would be doing, if we're just talking about COVID by itself, you're taking a group of people who want to all bring their household trash to a location to drop off for people to sort through it. That's probably not your ideal anti-COVID situation that you want. And so that's item number one. In the event that we had employees there to be able to protect those employees from what's coming, that would be very, very difficult. So that, of course, safety first is what we're thinking. But then if we're going to hire 10 employees to work at recycling, would those employees be better suited cutting grass? Would those employees be better suited picking up trash? Would those employees be better suited in another location? If we're going to hire more people, we would have to make a determination of where those employees are needed the most. Maybe not where the public outcry is the most, but where are they needed for us to function more efficiently? And so that's just another part of the equation.
You're on mute, Councilman Worthy.
I have a question to Mike since he's on, and it's about grass. The calls that he's getting about the recycling, I'm getting calls about the grass. So my thing is, can we not take the $40,000+ we've received so far this year from the nuisance lots that's private property and hire some people back to cut these private property lots?
Well, Councilman Worthy, that's an awesome question. It's my understanding that we got $26,000 in actual money last year. That went into the general fund. That didn't go into the Public Works Let's Cut Grass budget. Mm-hmm. It cost us $100,000 for 6 months worth of part-time employees, not counting equipment, to cut that grass. That even if it was $40,000 instead of 26, that's a $60,000 loss.
I understand.
So when you say we don't have $40,000 that we took in, we spent $100,000, and some folks paid $26,000 back. I mean, nobody can live on that math. I mean, that's
I understand. Hey, Hilton, I understand that. But what I'm talking about, what they received this year so far, and I understand what they paid out. But you cannot hire 3 or 4 people back to start cutting some of these nuisance lots. Because I know I'm sure the clerk's office is tired of getting the calls because they forward them to me.
For every call you get, I get 10. For every call
it's
you
not
get,
a competition here, but we're all on the same team. We're all on the same team.
Absolutely.
I know.
But the problem I have, Mike, is when we get these calls and I tell them all of the financial reasons we're not able to do it, and I get it, but the first thing I hear in response is, well, Gunnersville's still picking up their recycling. Anniston's still picking up their recycling. You know, that's the response I get is, how are all these other communities around us still running their recycling programs and we can't? And I get it. I'm on your side, man. I'm just trying to give you feedback from the street.
Yes, sir. And I appreciate that. And again, we will work diligently to do all we can do with what we have. But part of why y'all pay me so much money is to balance this juggling act, is this juggling act that I've got going, and trying to get as much done with the people that we have. That's what we're doing. It's been an adventure. I mean, this spring has really been an adventure for us out here, as well as you guys do in Public Works. But what we're doing as much as we can with what we've got. And I know when the grass is growing or debris is piling up or recycling is not getting recycled, it sounds like it's intimate. It sounds like something's got to happen to my problem right here today. We got to look at the big picture. We got to look at where we're going to be 3 months from now, where we're going to be 6 months from now. How are we going to function at that point? And this is just the beginning of what we're going to do over the next year or two. So hang in there with us. It's going to be a fun ride, but hang in there with us. That's also why you guys get paid the big bucks too, to answer those calls and to listen to those constituents. So I don't envy your position, but just understand that's part of the reason y'all are making all that money up there.
Dr. Charles?
Appreciate your hard work, Mike. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Whatever I can do to help.
But let me ask him this question. Are there anybody that's available to write citations to these people who are private nuisance? Because I have one person that calls me that lives next to the person. Lot is as tall as I am, and I asked for them to go and write that person a citation. Is it anybody out there to write citations? Because he can cut his lot. He shouldn't wait till the city cut his lot.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so let me. I don't want to speak for another department. Let me tell you what I think is the answer. The building department or the nuisance abatement folks, they have inspectors that go out, and they're the ones who are going to be sending out the letters and doing those kind of things. It's my understanding there is an ordinance on the books that says if you don't cut your grass, you can receive a citation to show up in court with a minimum $250 fine for not cutting your grass. If the building department would issue that letter, instead of sending a letter out that says, if you don't cut your grass, the city will come pay it, and it'll cost you $175 each time they come. If they send that same person by city ordinance that says you're going to get a citation and end up in court and it's $250 fine minimum, then I think that would get some more stuff done. But again, I'm not speaking for that department. I just know that ordinance is on the books. We don't send things out. That's something the building department, nuisance folks would have to do. That would be a conversation you probably want to have with Jan or with Brian in that department.
And Mike, I agree with you 1,000%. I think the thing that irks me that we're spending so much time talking about grass is that this is a conversation about individuals who are neglecting their real property and depending on the city to take its resources to cut that grass for them. And furthermore to that point, Lisa warned us several weeks ago that we're going to have to make some tough decisions, which means prioritizing the issues that we spend money on in the midst of pretty significant revenue losses. And I can tell you right now, grass cutting is important in a normal set of circumstances, as is recycling. But when you look at the kind of situation that we're in right now, those two get pushed way to the bottom when you start looking at the priority of where we have to spend. And I think we have to be mindful of that. I'm not prepared at this point. And again, I'm just one vote. But I'm not prepared at this point to tell any city department to start moving resources towards cutting lots that are being neglected by private citizens. I think if anything, I think we need to quadruple the fine for those people that are neglecting their private lots.
I do, because I got one I'd send to right now. I've been begging him to cut his lot, and he refuses to cut his lot. That's why I asked about a citation. I'm talking about private people who own these private nuisance lots. I'm not talking about one the state owned or they've been abated. I'm talking about these are citizens that own the lot, and they to cut the lot.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Worthy?
What I was gonna say is I know that the building department is sending the citations, and that's not really helping either, but they do take them to court. I know that personally. But my thing is, if we cut the state lots. We have 2,200 and some state lots. Is it, my question is it mandated that we cut those state lots? Because I hadn't been able to find that anywhere.
Well, Councilman Worthy, it may not be mandated that we cut a state lot, but it is mandated that we are to maintain the property that we control like we would expect our citizens to. And so that's why you will look at the city lots, the ones that have been given to us, those have been cut and sprayed. And since we're basically the stepbrother to the state, we want to pick those lots out next because the state is definitely not going to do anything to them. And we can't levy a $250 fine against the state for not cutting that lot, where we can a private citizen. So of course, we want to try to maintain as many of those lots as we can. We can send the state a citation, tell them show up in court, you know how that's going to go.
Yeah.
But if I send your next door neighbor a citation, if someone sends them a citation, says show up in court, and you're going to receive a $250 fine each month that you don't cut your grass, that might make eventually somebody get off their butt and do a little something. And that's what we're asking, that folks actually do what they're supposed to do in their own neighborhoods. I don't think that should be that difficult. Sorry, I probably should have not said but when I did.
Dr. Pose?
Guys, don't you think?
Mayor?
Yes, ma'am. Can I
Okay,
say something?
Yes.
Can I get a little bit of input to that? The mentality of it is, they think if we cut their lot, they don't have to pay it. I had two different people call me and ask me when we was going to cut their lot. And I said, where do you live? And they told me, and I said, is your house on that lot? And they said, yeah. And I said, why should we be cutting your lot? Well, I just thought y'all to cut our lot. It's up to the responsibility of the people who own the property to cut the lot, you know, but that's the way it goes. And as far as the state, it's my understanding a few years ago when that was passed, that if we put them in a land bank, we could get those lots. Well, then, of course, the people in Montgomery, they like to pass it up the ladder with no money. And so they changed that, where if we take the lots out of the plan to like get people to build houses and things like that, but then we have to pay the taxes, property taxes owed on them now. And that's because they don't have any money in Montgomery, so they always pass it uphill or downhill to the municipalities to see what they're going to do. So, you know, if the delegation, not the delegation, but the people of Montgomery would step up and say something, there's just all kind of things that come up all the time. And they pass these things and send it up to us, but they don't ever send money. So that's one of the main problems.
Councilman Cannon?
I think we're just kicking around a pile of dirt here. I think we need to be thinking about how we're going to pay our employees, how we're going to keep the employees we got, how we're going to keep the garbage trucks running, the trash trucks running. To me, that's more important than grass growing and recycling right now. It's paying the employees we got, keeping them going, and keeping the garbage picked up and the trash off the streets.
Well, Mike, I want to
Grass will
say,
die down in the wintertime. The frost will get it, it'll die down in the wintertime. But we need to keep our concentration on how we're going to keep paying our employees and working with our employees and getting all this other stuff done instead of cutting grass and recycling right now.
Madam President, I just want to say this. I want to say one thing. Number one, I agree on the grass cutting. I agree that's a nuisance issue that can be left to the side. But I also want to point out when it comes to recycling, just about every single municipality in America considers recycling part of their trash service. It's not some outlier thing that it used to be 50 years ago. Every city in America is still picking up their recycling. It's a part of trash collection. It's not considered this separate luxury. It's the same thing as picking up the dump or the trash cans off the side of the street.
Okay.
And Councilman Wilson, I have to say, I agree with you because nobody other than maybe you at this point is any more green than I am. But the thing that we have to remember, and we can't miss what Mr. Hilton said at the very beginning of his remarks. Our model as it exists requires people to stand side by side, typically inside of 6 feet from one another, sorting through that trash and drawing out the recyclable material. And at this point, I just don't know how prudent it is for us to be supporting a model that works against some of the social distancing standards and other things that exist with the CDC. Because with
I totally agree with that. And I totally agree with the comments of everybody else here, Mike Hilton and everything else. The only thing I take issue with is lumping recycling into the same conversation with nuisance grass cutting. I don't think those are I don't think those two city services are on the same level. I accept that the recycling center can't open right now for health reasons and maybe financial reasons. I don't think it's the same thing as us deciding not to cut grass. Closing down the recycling center is somewhere in between, somewhere above not cutting grass is all. That's the only point I was making.
Councilman Wilson, I agree with you. You know, recycling's good, but I'd rather have the household garbage picked up and trash up on the side of the roads right now because, as Mike said there, they take it up to Boaz Ironville, and that where they take it to, it's already closed. It's hit and miss. If I'm not mistaken, he said you don't never know when they're going to be open right now.
Yeah, like I said, I get it. I mean, I get the justification for it. Like I said, the only thing I disagree with was I don't think it's the same thing as nuisance grass cutting. I think it's a little more important than that. But I understand there's challenges that we've got to recognize with the facilities not operating on a regular basis, us having limited manpower, and the health risks associated with operating that facility. Those are all valid, acceptable responses to my question, and I accept. Thank you.
One item that we talked about in pre-council as far as the airport, I would like to know, can it be brought up today? Since it's a grant, it's nothing that's out of our funds as a city, can it be brought up today?
It's fine with me.
Okay.
All right with me.
Okay.
You got my support.
Okay.
Can you be brought
Okay.
up today about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said it can be brought up today.
Okay, yes. Okay, let's see. Councilman Back,
Yes, ma'am.
would you bring it up? The airport, grant. You're on mute.
I said, I'm sorry. I said, I'd be glad to, and I really enjoy getting federal money being brought to Gadsden. These 100% matches are pretty good.
Exactly. If there's no other comments, then the council will break until 11 o'clock and we'll have our regular council meeting. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Cynthia Tolles, President of the Gadsden City Council, and we're meeting today by teleconference. This meeting is being broadcast on Facebook Live and can also be viewed later on Comcast Channel 99, AT&T UVerse, and the City of Gadsden YouTube channel. This meeting of the Gadsden City Council will not come to order. The chair calls on City Clerk Alvin Nelson for the roll call.
Councilwoman Tolles?
Here.
Councilman Williams?
Here.
Worthy?
Here.
Back?
Here.
Wilson? Cannon?
Here.
And Reed?
Here.
We have a quorum present and our meeting is open for business. And please bow for the invocation. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the beautiful day that you blessed us with. We just pray that you would be with us as this meeting continues, that your will would be done, and that we would have your wisdom and your insight on all the decisions that are made. We pray for everyone who's been affected by the COVID-19 virus, Lord, and we pray for healing for those that are sick. These things we ask in your name. Amen.
Yeah.
At this time, I'm going to call on the EMA Director, Ms. Deborah Gaither, to provide an update on COVID-19.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, thank you. I just want to remind everyone, wait a minute, it's asking me to start my video. Good morning. I'll turn it this way. There we go. I just wanted to remind everyone that we are still growing in numbers, and it's not because we're testing, it's because through testing we have found some of our citizens who have COVID-19, and we need to make sure that we're doing them justice by servicing them. So we continue to test, not just in the city of Gadsden, but countywide. So those numbers will continue to rise as long as we're testing. But in doing that, we find the pockets of individuals in our own communities that are having problems and issues. And we're trying to address those as we find those areas. Public Health has done an awesome job here in Etowah County helping us, and then also by servicing through drive-throughs and other testing sites. Testing is still available Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 to 10 by appointment. You call 256-547-6311 to make an appointment at the Etowah County Health Department, and they'll have you just to drive around to the back parking lot. They'll come out to you. You don't even have to get out of your vehicle. So if anyone still needs that service, it is there and available, and they're working hard to help with that. And I hope that I don't offend anyone by what I'm about to say, but I did hear the discussions earlier about grass cutting and recycling, and I do not mean any disrespect. I want us to remember that we're in the middle of a disaster like none of us has ever seen before, and emergency purchases are going to be prevalent in the upcoming months. I know all of those issues need to be addressed and taken care of, but I want us to look at the long-term broad picture about purchasing for emergency purchases. In doing that, looking at, I want to ask all of our city department heads, we're trying to work as logistics for the city here. And in doing that, we can help cut the cost for any purchases that we make by doing bulk purchases. I just need to know the city department heads long-term planning through 9 months. We've gotten a couple, not one from every department, but I need to say that all departments need to plan. So I need to make sure that we can get those numbers so that we can save the city money. We're not just doing it for the city of Gadsden. As you know, the mayor hired me years ago to do the job for not just the city of Gadsden, but all of Etowah County. So even the larger purchases that we're doing, we're including them, and we get a better cost-effective purchase. So I need that information from even in your jurisdictions, if or your districts, if you want to make a purchase for a specific thing, let's purchase together. But in planning to do that, we have to keep the emails coming back and forth, and just send those to us at ema@cityofgadsden.com. We're still under the Safer at Home order, and that is until May the 22nd. I don't know what the governor will have to add to that, but I want to remind people that as they're beginning to come out and we're beginning to reopen the community, we're living under a new set of rules than when we started our journey into the COVID virus. we all have to social distance. We all have to use our own ink pens. We all have to use our own phone. We all have to make a change in how we react. Y'all have heard me say this many times. Being the Southern mama and grandmama that I am, I want a hug. We can't do that for a while. I know I sound like a broken record, but we're trying to level City of Gadsden and Etowah County out with cases of COVID. That's the only way we're going to be able to make it better. And public health is doing an awesome job, but it takes every single one of us to do our part to make sure we do it. And some people just don't want to participate. If they don't want to participate, please stay at home. Stay at home. But we're working to do this to make it better. Trying to get back to normal. We want to do away with the new normal that we're having to deal with right now. We are about to submit the disaster reimbursement claim for the City of Gadsden, and that's through April 30th. Pardon me. If any department heads or anyone else with the City of Gadsden has anything that needs to be added, please send that to us. And also, if you need to document in the log, send that to us too, and we will put that in the log. We've serviced more than 300 agencies and departments within the City of Gadsden and Etowah County to help stop the spread of COVID-19. In doing that, we've depleted much of our supply in supporting some of our groups that are feeding by giving our bulk of water, which needs to be rotated out anyway. There's several different things we're going to have to start to purchase to have our backup supply in place. So I just wanted to give everyone a heads up on that we're going to be doing several backup supplies for things that are not pertain strictly to COVID, but they are shared during the COVID event. Does anyone have any questions?
Yes, Deborah, I'd just like to ask you how we're doing on the drive-in testing at Ed Community Center, where we are on that. We've got a lot of homeless people living over there in different woods and different places over there. And I sure think it would benefit Walnut Park, South Gadsden, Oak Park, and Alabama City if we could get all those people tested. I know I talked with you last week, and you was going to see what the health department decided about setting up one at Ed Community Center.
Right, and I did. I emailed that in to Mary Gomillion, and they're reviewing all the locations. And I have not heard back specifically on Elliott, but when I do, I will give you a phone call, let you know.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Yes,
Worthy.
I just want to say to Ms. Gaither, thank you so much for all you all are doing, EMA and the Alabama Department of Public Health and Etowah County Health Department. We had a great success on the drive-through walk-up at Carver. So thank you. I can't tell them thank you enough. We had 207 people to come through to get tested. We had more than that to come through, but some of them changed their mind and didn't want to get that Q-tip stuck up their nose. So they just thought they didn't want to do it. But out of all the sites so far, that was the most. So hopefully they'll do another one, and hopefully they can do it over there at Elliott, Councilman Cannon, to help your side of town out, because people need to know, because you can be asymptomatic and have it and spread it and not know it. So thank you so much.
no problem. We're just doing our job, what we've been hired to do. Anybody?
Hey, Deborah, I have one thing. The Q-tip might scare off a whole bunch of people. I hope not. But isn't there an alternative now to not be as invasive as the Q-tip?
I will say that right now, our public health does not have that option. Some of the other local physicians or others may have, but as working with public health, there's not that option in Etowah County right now.
Well, that's what I heard, is probably physicians locally.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Councilman Back.
Yes,
Councilman
ma'am.
Back.
Thank you. This is in regard to Ms. Gaither's comment about the disaster reimbursement claim. And you were asking the department heads to submit, and this may be for Mayor Guyton. This is just a suggestion. I think it would be good if we required every department head to respond to you either yes or no that they have a claim. That way nothing falls through the cracks. I don't know if this is a one-time only claim or if this is going to be a recurring, but we sure don't want to miss any opportunity to get reimbursed because maybe of a lack of communication or somebody didn't get the memo or something like that. So just a friendly suggestion, maybe Mayor, that somebody that we have those department heads respond. So you have 100% response and you either say, yes, I have a claim or no, I don't have a claim. Thank you.
Okay, and if I can, Mayor, I'll answer that for you. We did send out a department head email to all to respond to us. Maybe we could send another one and see if we can just get the yes or no. Would that work for you, Mayor? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Gaither.
Thank you.
At this time, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the work session and the council meeting that was held May the 12th.
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Councilwoman Toles,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
Councilman Worthy,
Yes.
Councilman Back,
Yes.
Councilman Wilson, Councilman Cannon,
Yes.
Councilman Reed.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt. Approved minutes.
The chair will entertain a motion to ratify payments of accounts for the week of May 8th through the 14th.
So moved. Second.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Councilman Reed,
Yes.
Councilman Cannon,
Yes.
Councilman Wilson, Councilman Back,
Yes.
Councilman Worthy,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
and Councilwoman Toles.
Yes.
Motion carries to ratify payment of the accounts.
First, we have no unfinished business today, and we have began with the resolution that amend the agreement with FLW LLC. And this agreement authorizes resolution number R22-20 for sponsorship of a fishing tournament. And the amendment will change the date of the event to September the 2nd through the 4th. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
And there are there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Councilwoman Toles,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
Councilman Worthy,
Yes.
Councilman Back,
Yes.
Councilman Wilson,
Yes.
Councilman Cannon,
Yes.
and Councilman Reed.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt.
Our next resolution authorizes extension of a special use permit to Verizon. And this is for an extension of the permit authorized by the resolution number R469-19 that was done on December the 17th, 2019 to allow Verizon to co-locate their equipment on the existing wireless communication facility located at 4610 Airport Road. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Councilman Reed,
Yes.
Councilman Cannon,
Yes.
Councilman Wilson,
Yes.
Is there any discussion?
Councilman Back,
Yes.
Councilman Worthy,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
and Councilwoman Toles.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt.
Our next resolution, it authorized acceptance of the Community Development Block Grant, coronavirus. This is the CDBG, CV funds that authorize the mayor to sign funding agreement. And these funds are provided through the CARE Act to be used for response to the coronavirus pandemic. The total amount is $621,937, and it's broken down as the following: $160,000 for the fire department, $176,937 for the emergency utility assistance for low moderate income citizens, $190,000 for supplies and equipment, and $95,000 for the nonprofit to address homelessness. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Councilwoman Toles,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
Councilman Worthy,
Yes.
Councilman Back,
Yes.
Councilman Wilson, Councilman Cannon,
Yes.
and Councilman Reed.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt.
Our next resolution is authorizing amendment to the 2019 Community Development Block Grant, the Action Plan 2015 to 2019 Consolidated Plan, and a Citizen Participation Plan. And this is to account for the CDBG COVID grant allocation and use of funds as required by HUD. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Councilman Reed,
Yes.
Councilman Cannon,
Yes.
Councilman Wilson, Councilman Back,
Yes.
Councilman Worthy,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
and Councilwoman Toles.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt.
This is our first reading, but this is an ordinance that's amending the fiscal year 2020 general fund budget. And this is to reflect the receipt of the CDBG COVID grant in the amount of $621,937. And this ordinance has been presented for first reading, but I'd like a motion to suspend the rules and consider this ordinance today.
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Councilwoman Toles,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
Councilman Worthy,
Yes.
Councilman Back,
Yes.
Councilman Wilson,
Yes.
Councilman Cannon,
Yes.
and Councilman Reed.
Yes.
We have unanimous consent for consideration today.
Do we have a motion and a second for adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Councilman Reed,
Yes.
Councilman Cannon,
Yes.
Councilman Wilson,
Yes.
Councilman Back,
Yes.
Councilman Worthy,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
and Councilwoman Toles.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt.
All right. Is there any new business?
Madam President, I have one, please.
All right.
This is a resolution authorizing application, acceptance, and administration of a grant from the FAA for the Airport Authority in the amount of $129,476. Although a 5% match from the city and the state is stated in the application, the FAA will, upon receipt of the application, edit the funding to be 100% federal. I ask for unanimous consent.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Councilwoman Toles,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
Councilman Worthy,
Yes.
Councilman Back,
Yes.
Councilman Wilson, Councilman Cannon,
Yes.
and Councilman Reed.
Yes.
And we have
Yes.
unanimous consent for consideration. I saw your lips move.
I move for adoption.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Councilman Reed,
Yes.
Councilman Cannon,
Yes.
Councilman Wilson. Councilman Back,
Yes.
Councilman Worthy,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
and Councilwoman Toles.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt.
Madam President, I think it would be worth noting that in light of the COVID virus, that the feds are willing to chip in a little bit more. You know, this was a 90-10 grant, but they have willingly offered to pay the 5% for the state and the 5% for the city. So I think that's a nice gesture here in the middle of the coronavirus, given all the things that they're doing and the what this means for our airport. I think it greatly increases and enhances the safety of the airport, as it's going to be the monies for lighting, also for our beacon light, which I'm not a pilot, but I would think that those things are pretty important. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you. I would like to, I know we have department reports and committee boards. I don't know if there's any available at this time, but I would like for our next meeting, these are some board reports just to give an update of kind of what's going on in the city. But Ms. Rosser, our finance director, we'd like for her to come next week to give us an update on our financial status. Also, I'd like to get an update from Parks and Recreation, if Ms. Weatherton will come, if there's nothing but to tell us about our parks and our building situation as far as our community centers. Like to have Ms. Renee Baker to come to give us a status on how the applications may be going as far as when they get started, as far as the Emergency Citizen Fund. Also, always have Mr. Hilton or Mr. Stovall on hand to keep us abreast of what's going on in Public Works. And also, I'd like to see if Miss K Moore can come, sort of just to give us a status on the businesses and how things, as far as the reopening, just give us a status of downtown. At this time, I'd like to ask for announcements. I'll start with the mayor. Mayor, you have any announcements or comments?
Uh-oh, he's muted.
Can't hear you, Mayor.
Here she comes. She's gonna straighten him out.
I thought Eric could unmute you and all that.
I did too. He must have touched something wrong.
You can mute your own though as well.
I can do it on my phone. I guess that's it, the top. I don't know.
While the mayor is working on his, we'll go with Councilman Wilson.
I don't have anything other than to encourage everyone to continue to tell everybody, to fill out their census. Those
Yes.
numbers continue to trend in the right direction, but District 5, especially along the South 11th Street corridor, all the way from Gadsden City High School, all the way up Megan, has the lowest participation rate in the city of Gadsden. So please fill out your census. I'm gonna be knocking on your door as soon as they allow me to encourage you to fill out your census. So if you want to avoid that interaction, go ahead and fill it out now. You won't have to deal with me knocking on your door begging you to fill it out. And I just want to say in general, how much I appreciate having an opportunity to serve on this city council and work with all you guys. I know we don't always agree about things, but I really appreciate the way we're able to maintain civility and have educated, elevated conversations about issues that are complex. And I thank everybody at the city for all their hard work and what they're doing every day to get us through this. And I know we will get through it together. So thank y'all.
All right, Councilman Reed.
Yes, first of all, I'd like to thank Public Works for getting the flags up for Memorial Day. They're looking real good. And from the Gadsden Etowah Patriots Association, there will be a short, informal remembrance of our not forgotten veterans who made the ultimate sacrifice. And that's going to be Monday, May the 25th, 10 a.m. at the War Memorial, Flw Llc Park. It's the same place we have it every year. The only difference is there won't be bands and there won't be guns, salutes, and this sort of thing. It'll be informal and to the point. The agenda is going to be our prayer. Billy Harris will be doing that. The Pledge of Allegiance will be by Mitch Chastain. The National Anthem will be sung by Kim Battles. They'll have the placing of the wreath by Sergeant Frank Godfrey and Petty Officer Edward Moon, as usual. And then Steve Reagan will end it with taps. Again, thank you for Mike and all his crew for the flags being up. And the July 4th fireworks are on schedule. So remember that, 9 o'clock, July the 4th. Thank y'all.
Councilman Worthy.
You're on mute, Thomas.
Thank you. Got a couple of announcements to make, that's all. It started at 11 o'clock today. It's from 11 to 1 at Shiloh Baptist Church. They're giving out 250 boxes of produce. And we also, I was able to get some masks, so we're gonna give out masks. And then at 12:30 until, there'll be another 250 boxes of produce and masks given out at Friendship Baptist Church here at 6th and Megan. And we want to thank Councilman Wilson for the hand sanitizer. You have to bring your own container to put the hand sanitizer in. So we will be, they're doing that at 12:30 until. And like I was telling Ms. Gaither, I want to reiterate and say thank you to the Alabama Department of Public Health and to Etowah County Health Department, to all the nurses. They work very hard down at Carver. They had the most people to show up to take the test at Carver. And when they had it in Rainbow City, it was 106 people that showed up. 19 of them tested positive. At East Gadsden, it was 126 and 25 people tested positive. So here we had 207. So if those numbers hold, we'll have a little bit more than that to test positive. So we need people to know their status. So please social distance, wear a mask. Everybody should be wearing a mask when you're outside. So we had a lot of people to come through that didn't have a mask on. So that's why I'm trying to give out masks. And we're gonna partner with different people to get a mask. So thank you so much.
Councilman Williams.
Thank you, Madam President.
Councilman Williams.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. So just to echo the sentiment about social distancing, it continues to be apparent that there are people who aren't respecting this disease, this very serious disease, because as you go out and about in the public, it typically definitely since the order has changed from stay at home to safer at home, people are just ignoring the risk, and want to encourage folks to continue to be mindful that the risk is real. In particular, those who are prone to large gatherings across the state and across the nation, we're continuing to see surges where people are gathering socially to meet in groups larger than 10 or 20. So again, continue to practice social distancing. And as the point was made earlier, continue to wear masks when amongst large groups. Continue to sanitize your hands, continue to keep your hands away from your face. These are all very simple steps that can help and aid in avoiding this very serious disease. I'm gonna disagree just a little with Councilman Wilson on the census report, and I understand his sentiment. He's really trying to be encouraging and push people with positive reinforcement. But the reality is that we have continued to hover around 56, 57% participation in Gadsden, and that's pathetic. It's not good at all, and it really speaks to a level of apathy that's embarrassing. We really need to get out, people, and participate. Complete the census forms. If you need help, if not understanding how or not having internet access is the issue, ask for help because it is important, not just in Gadsden, but across this country, that people in small communities like ours complete the census reports so that we can get good data, so that we can amply compete for the federal funds that are out there. So please, ma'am, and please, sir, get out, complete the form, and make sure that you're counted in this round of census reporting. I think most of us know, but the governor approved, the Senate and the House at the state level approved a plan to follow through and support the governor's plan for the CARES Act money, CARES Act funding. That's good news for us because we at the city of Gadsden have been very supportive of the governor and have a good working relationship with the governor's office. Now we want to encourage. We know that the Senate was left out of that discussion, we want to encourage our local legislative delegation to work on that relationship to make sure that in and of itself doesn't hinder the city or the county in any way, because it's important now that money is in the hands of the governor's office that we be in a good position to receive our portion of funding. Just as a reminder, 250 million of that 250 million of that 1.8 billion is set aside for local governments. So that's what we'll be competing for. Our belief and our hope through a lot of the efforts that have been engaged upon by the Alabama legal municipalities is that we will be in a better position with the monies being at the state level for small and mid-sized cities like ours to be accounted for and recognized in terms of these grant awards. So stay tuned. It's not clear right now whether or not the governor will use the ADECA infrastructure to carry out the funding awards, but at some level it'll be driven by the governor's office, and we just need to be in a good position to forward with our application process. That's all I have, Madam President.
Councilman Back.
Yes, Madam President, thank you. I echo what everybody said so far about the census. It's vitally important. A lot of the things that we receive calls about for Gadsden can be related to federal funding, paving of roads and summer nutrition programs that we help to feed our students that are at risk for being hungry in the summer. That's been going on for years in a partnership with the city school system And there's numerous other programs that are federally funded that we really need to have a strong count. So encourage your friends and neighbors and family to fill out and complete the census. It's not that hard, and there is help available should you need help. The coronavirus safety just goes without question. I was out this weekend in 2 places and was the only person that I could really see that was wearing a mask in a group of maybe 60 to 70 people, and there was no social distancing. I get that we're all tired of this. I'm very tired of this virus and the restrictions that we are being placed under. And you hear about our rights, and couldn't agree more. I feel like my rights are being taken away, but it's almost for our own good. And so we just need to think about other people and don't rush out and make it like it's brand new and there is no problem. There is no cure for this. There is no shot. There's no pill. There's no nothing. And I'm concerned that our society is reacting like it's just not there anymore. So please be careful and please be mindful of your actions because they do impact other people. I have received a lot of calls on debris pickup from all sections of my district, from East Gadsden to Country Club, Clubview, and Edenwood. Please know that the Public Works is doing all they can do. I think last week Mike Hilton said that the tonnage was up some 30 tons over this time last year. More people are putting out more debris. There's just all kind of things on the side of the road. We see it in every neighborhood. Public Works is working hard and doing all they can do to complete the route. So everybody, please be patient with this process. Also, I want to reiterate speeding. I still get calls on speeding all the time. Please slow down. Please do not drive fast in these neighborhoods that are designed for a 20 or 25 mile an hour speed limit, and you're going 40 and 50, sometimes 60 miles an hour. Please be mindful of children and of people that are out walking. It's that time of year, and people are out more on the street. So pay attention to what you're doing. Another call that I get a lot about is where are we as a city and what are we doing to grow our economy? I think everybody, I read a lot. I'm probably not on as much as Jason on the social media, but I'm on there a pretty good bit. And I see a lot of good suggestions. You should know that every suggestion that I've seen has already been thought of by the mayor's office, by the IDA staff and the IDA board. And there are things that are in motion and work has already been going on for a number of months and years to better Gadsden and Etowah County in regards to employment and to bring new industry to Gadsden and Etowah County. The cycle for attracting a company to come to our city is about a 12 to 18 month cycle. It just doesn't happen overnight. There is so much due diligence that has to be done in order to attract a company. I want everybody out there to know that that is being done. We have very qualified people that are doing that, and there are things in motion that will bring industry to Gadsden and Etowah County. So please don't think that nothing's being done and there's no attention being put into these efforts. There's a lot of effort going into bringing industry to Gadsden and Etowah County. Last thing I want to mention is that tomorrow at 2 o'clock at First Baptist Church, downtown Gadsden, at the corner of 5th Street and Walnut Street, will be given away in conjunction with Alabama Teachers Credit Union and the Exchange Bank. We'll be giving away a little over 2,000 pounds of groceries. So it works. You pull up and we have our mask on. We're social distancing. We ask you to pop your trunk or your lift gate. We place the groceries in your vehicle and you're on your way. We have had a great response to this. We will run out of food. There will be people that won't receive food just simply because of the demand. And we only get this week about 2,000 pounds. But please know that we're doing the best we can, and we will get more food the next Wednesday from the Community Food Bank in Central Alabama down in Birmingham. So that's 2 o'clock tomorrow at First Baptist Church, Gadsden. Thank you very much.
Councilman Cannon?
Yes, I'd just like to thank the police department and the fire department last night, this morning, early between 12 and 1:30, we had a pretty bad accident on Megan Boulevard. Those guys were right there. The dispatchers were right there, relaying all the messages to them, and it was, I think there was maybe 4 or 5 injuries there, and they went to the hospital. But I just want to thank them for everything they did, because those are a bunch of good guys and girls, the fire department, the police department, and also the dispatchers. Dispatchers never get a lot of credit, but the dispatchers are the first to help them out there to get the police officers or the fire department out there, and I want to thank them. Also, too, I'd like for everybody to keep praying for the city, keep praying for our leaders, just keep praying and praying and praying, because we're not through with this pandemic we're in right now. We're still, I think the worst might be yet to come. That's just my opinion, but just keep praying for everybody that you can. That's all I have.
All right, Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you ready to
Hear
talk
me?
to us?
Okay. I got several issues. I'll try to cover them really quick. First of all, jobs. There's about 800 or 900 jobs open here in Etowah County. The auto suppliers, we started trying to recruit them when Goodyear almost closed in '06. We were fortunate with Larry Means, Roger Bedford, several people who in the Senate, and we promised them money we didn't have, but they were able to get it out of a big pot down there, and so we got it, and that's what saved them. Well, now the problem is on jobs. We have around 800 or 900 jobs available with these auto suppliers now that we started recruiting a few years ago. $10 to $20 an hour, maybe a little more, depending on qualifications. But they can't get people to work. And some of them, I know most of the plant managers talk to them just about every week, some of them. If parents, if you got somebody in your house 18 years and older that's not working, or even if it's not the parents, if you'll let me know, call my office, give me your name and number, I'll put you in touch with somebody who you can go and interview with them. The only requirement is you do have to show up and work every week to get a check. And then, you know, I mean, we've got training programs. We got money for Gadsden State. They have an auto technology center over there. You can learn how to do anything on a vehicle that needs to be done if you want to go over there. And Gadsden State is a really good resource we have for many things. And then we also spent a couple million on the Career Tech building at Gadsden City High School when it was built. But, you know, people have to go and try to get an education, and they have to go to work. And we have some that go to work for us, even in the summer. They'll work 1 or 2 days. They won't come back and get their check. We mail it to them. Another issue is on the garbage. You know, we have people in this city who will ride around on a truck, and they'll stop on the street where there's not much traffic or whatever, and on the medians, they'll unload a bunch of stuff on the median. They do it in all the different districts, I'm telling you. I get calls all the time. And, you know, if people will do what they're supposed to do, we can do something about that. But on the garbage, you know, a lot of cities have a $3 or $4 recycling fee. You know, that'd be up to y'all. But there's so many ways we can do a few things, but we just can't hand deliver everything that everybody thinks we need without people working and trying to help us get what we need to be done. But, you know, our police and fire are excellent. A lot of speeding on Rainbow Drive. And if you're on Rainbow Drive and you're going too fast, you're probably going to get a ticket. And in other parts of the Megan Boulevard will be another place. But, you know, there's just a lot of things that can be done here, but everybody has to join together and work towards it. And on the garbage, you know, the recycling thing, $3 or $4. If you want to add that on, that's what a lot of cities do. I've talked to in some other municipalities, and as well as we have, I can't tell you how many bad checks we have on garbage. I just can't. I don't even know. They can't even count them. But you know, we can't do everything all the time. And the jobs, we need people working because that's where we get our money, a big part of it. And so. You know, you can hear a lot of rumors, you can hear a lot of this or that, but you can call me anytime, 549-4646, leave a message, I will call you back. And I'm always at the council meetings, or I'm up in my office talking to people, and I don't go sometimes to the council meetings because I don't vote anyway. But a lot of times I'm always up in my office talking to different people who about different problems and all that. But if everybody would sort of make a big push to turn people in on the recycling or dumping the trash, you know, and all that kind of thing. Also, Jason, I want to tell you, I talked to Kay Moore yesterday. She said there was only one restaurant had mentioned trying to do eating on the sidewalk. Nobody else has replied back to her.
Yeah, I was copied on that email, Mayor, and you're
Okay.
right. Not very many people replied to her email, but I spoke to about half a dozen of those businesses last night, and I think there was some confusion with her email about whether they needed to reply directly to her or not. There are dozens of businesses in downtown that are excited about this, and that's the reason we continue. I asked Kay to circulate that application to several businesses that had shown an interest in it, and she's done that. She sent a new email out this morning with the application for the existing permitting process, and I've already seen several responses to that email. So I think you'll start seeing some of those applications coming in pretty soon. And Mayor, I wanted to your point about the recycling fee. Time and time again, as I've had this conversation online, I tell citizens over and over again, look, everything's a trade-off. Every time you talk to me about, you know, what Gunnersville does or Anniston does, well, Gunnersville charges more for their trash collection. Just, you know, somebody mentioned Tucson, Arizona the other day. Well, Tucson, Arizona charges $30 a month to pick your trash up. So yeah, they've got some recycling bins. And the city of Gunnersville charges $14 a month, and they don't give you a trash can. You got to use your own trash can, and then they give you blue trash bags that you can go pick up yourself, and then you drop them by the curb and they'll come by and pick them up. So like you said, everything's a trade-off. If y'all wanted us to implement the same tax rate that are in comparable cities around this state, we'd be able to offer all kinds of additional services. But I think we all know there's not a big appetite for that. So like you said, let's just be patient and do the best we can. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir. That's fine. I'm glad to hear that. But, you know, if your kids don't have a trained skill, they can't get a job that's worth any money. Send them to the Career Tech building at Gadsden City High School, send them to Gadsden State. They have a lot of grants over there. You know, the plumber was at the doctor's house doing a job, and when he got through, he gave the doctor the bill. The doctor said, "My goodness, that's more than I make." And the plumber said, "That's why I quit practicing medicine and started plumbing." So there's some good paying jobs out there if you will only go after them, but you have to be motivated, and somebody's got to motivate everybody. So thank you very much.
All right, there's a TV commercial that says we're in this together. So we're all in this together. If there's
Madam President?
Yes.
Hey, I just got a text message. They're going to hand out the food tomorrow. The food truck went to the wrong place. So tomorrow, same from 11 to 1 at Shiloh, and 12:30 until at Friendship Baptist Church at 6th and Megan. So just want to let people know they're not going to do it today because the food truck went to the wrong location.
Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
You sure
can.
Moved.
All right. This meeting is adjourned.
Everybody have a good week.